we are going to, now let me exactly tell you. So what exactly is a super typhoon? Let's take a look. All right, viewers, so this is a super typhoon. We're going to give you all those details there of what exactly it is. Now, a typhoon is a tropical cyclone that produces sustained winds of at least 119 kilometers per hour. So that's the minimum speed, viewers, that a typhoon would have. Now, it develops between 180 degrees east to 100 degrees east in the northern hemisphere. So that's, of course, the hemisphere that we're giving you details of. And it's known as the Northwestern Pacific Basin. It accounts for 1/3 of the world's tropical cyclones. So that is, of course, what a super typhoon is. And since 2009, the Hong Kong Observatory has divided typhoons into 3 classifications: typhoon, severe typhoon, and super typhoon. So those are the 3 categories of typhoons that we're telling you about, viewers. And now a super typhoon has winds of at least 185 to 190 kilometers per hour, which reaches the intensity of 240 kilometers per hour. So of course, viewers, we've given you a complete overview of what a typhoon is and how it progresses, the kind of wind speeds. So that, of course, viewers, is a complete understanding of what a typhoon is. And now, of course, I have my guest, Dr. Sushil Kumar Dwivedi, who's a weather expert, joining me. Now, Dr. Dwivedi, my first question to you is that can these typhoons be predicted? And of course, they can be predicted, but how prior, just to give our viewers a complete understanding, how prior can we get to know that a typhoon of this intensity is progressing?
Actually, we are living in the era of the climate change, and nowadays science is feeling helpless as there are frequency of the such environmental occurrence are occurring day by day. And there is a question that how is the climate change is affecting such type of the weather or such type of the typhoon or hurricanes or cyclones, why these are frequently rising in the coastal areas. So assessing the precise influence of the climate change on individual tropical such event can be challenging due to the complexity of the storm system. And but rising temperature, it was found to be affect these storm or these typhoon in several ways, because it is seen that there is the warmer ocean. When the warming of the ocean occurs, so warmer ocean means a storm or typhoon can pick up more energy, leading to the higher wind speed. And as you have earlier explained that there is the maximum wind speed of the typhoon is quite alarming, and it is seem to be. And second thing is a warmer atmosphere. That is the one of the thing that fuel the such type of the typhoon. So secondly, a warmer atmosphere can hold more moisture, leading to the more intense rainfall. So it become more severe, and climate change made the extreme rainfall from hurricane we have seen in the last week also. So that is the whole things are fueling such type of the event, and these are uh, these typhoon are ranging in the super typhoon or category 5 typhoon, where the wind speed is 157 mil per hour, that is the 252 kilometer per hour. So many buildings may be destroyed.
All right, viewers. So we're going to tell you more about the particular typhoon and give you details of the same. Now, of course, Dr. Dwivedi, I want to ask you about what are the different kinds of typhoon categories and what is the wind speed?
Yes, yes. So there, as the safer Simpson hurricane scale, that is the explaining, that is the typhoon category 1 that is the wind speed is around 74 to 95 mil per hour or 119 to 153 kilometer per hour. So in this category 1, there is the some damage and only power cut will be done. And category 2 is accounting for the wind speed that is the 96 to 110 mil per hour. That comes in the kilometer per hour around 154 to 177 kilometer per hour. So there is the extensive damage will be seen. And at the category third is consisting, so wind speed quite alarming, that is the 111 to 129 mil per hour. So in kilometer scale, it is around 178 or 208 kilometer per hour. So this accounting for the damage of the well-built homes. So there is the major damage may be seen. And category 4, we have the wind speed around 130 to 156 mil per hour, and around in kilometer per hour scale, it is around 209 to 251 kilometer per hour. So severe damage to the well-built homes and other uh, property will be damaged. And at the super typhoon, that is the category 5 typhoon, where the wind speed around 157 mil per hour, that is the in kilometer speed is the more than the 252 kilometer per hour. So many buildings were destroyed. There is the major road cut off, and there is the very much loss of the property will occur. So that is why this type of the typhoon is creating havoc to the people, and science and human being is quite feeling helpless because we are not in the phase of alarming such. We cannot do the solution of such type of the environmental problem. So the major question is arising that as we people have done so many anthropogenic activities and so many uh, activities which are not favorable for the eco-friendly pathway. So these all are accounting for such a problem. Although climate change is not thought to increase the number of hurricane and cyclone worldwide, but warmer ocean coupled with a warmer atmosphere, that is fueled by the climate change. So it is having the potential to make those do form even more intense, and that is why it is creating potentially leading to the higher wind speed and heavier rainfall and a great risk of the coastal flooding.
All right. I also have my guest, Stephen Fernandez, Artistic Director, Philippines, who's also joining me on the broadcast. Now, Stephen, am I audible to you? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Am
absolutely,
I good?
Stephen. Just wanted to
Okay.
ask you, what is the situation in Philippines as of now?
Well, very bad. Really bad. But fortunately, I live in an area that is outside of the typhoon now. This is an area of Mindanao, southern Philippines, and we are fortunate. What we do have here is just gloomy skies. But I'd like to add that my company, the Integrated Performing Arts Guild (IPAG), is on a tour, road show now, and is exactly in the same place where the landfall of this typhoon happened. So they are stranded. And I also would like to add that just about 3 4 weeks ago, we were in Karnataka, in Bangalore, for performance in One World, in the International Cultural Festival, One World, One Family, there in Bangalore. And India has always been a home place for us. We've been to India performing maybe 5 6 times, New Delhi, Mumbai, even Ayodhya. And it is the same group that is now uh, in the same area, the Bicol area, southern Luzon, where the landfall has happened. But fortunately, they are still safe. There may be no light. There is devastation happening all around. But they live in a resort beside the sea, and they just give to me inputs of what's happening. And apparently, the rains and the wind are so strong and still the typhoon is still there. So we are in a very fortunate position, actually, but we are anxious and we are worried because our kids are still are caught in this typhoon.
Stephen, what about the evacuation situation? Are people currently being evacuated, or is the evacuation process completed?
In the Philippines is very bad. We do not have the facilities. We have very bad planning. We have very bad leaders, and a lot of this, even this devastation that is happening now, has been a result of wrong flood control projects. So, as you have heard, perhaps there is evacuation. There are institutions and there are bureaus that take care of this. However, facilities are really that bad. So Philippines, being very very spiritual, would rely so much on religion for us to save our people. But we try to save ourselves. No, there are certain portions, like even a very very progressive city like Cebu, in the most
एक्चुअली
recent flood.
वहाँ से वसीम सर से बोला था, तो
Yes,
उन्होंने
Cebu last about two
परसों गए थे,
three.
तो जो डांस
Yeah,
कराते हैं उनसे हम मिले
yeah.
थे। उन्होंने बताया कि उनके पास अभी नहीं है, वो वसीम सर से लेके मुझे देंगे। आज छुट्टी है, कल भी छुट्टी थी, फ्राइडे को गया था, है ना?
Even Cebu
तो आज छुट्टी है।
had worse consequences for a very progressive city. You can see that it's supposed to be the second most progressive city in the Philippines. Yet you see what happened.
Stephen, what are the other kind of preparations that the government has made other than the evacuation plan?
Really, there is a lot of how do you say this, in corruption. A lot of this is the problem for a growing country like the Philippines, and it in a very dystopian manner. This can be a even a blessing in disguise to see the um, the minuses that we have, uh, the non-preparedness, the lack of planning for such a country that is always every year having 20 plus typhoons, but not as bad as the typhoon that we have now. This is really, I should think in my lifetime, the worst typhoon.
Stephen, I was reading earlier that, Baikal was affected in the former half of the day. What is the situation in Baikal as of now?
For me, is that question for me?
Yes,
The situation
yes, Stephen.
continues.
Yes, Baikal, the
The
region
situation
Baikal is what
continues.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, the situation is not very good because the typhoon is traveling at a very slow pace. It's not something that just passes through, and as it moves towards the north, it becomes stronger and stronger. So hopefully we just what I have here is I'm just receiving reports of what's happening. But so far, the reports that I'm receiving from our company says everything is okay. But we have to go not use our portable phones because we don't have electricity. At 5 o'clock, power will be off. What we're using now is a generator. Fortunately, they are staying in a resort, but the resort is beside the sea, and it is just lucky that there has been no storm surge in this part of their location.
Now, Stephen, of course, I mean, I also want to ask you, has the government generated any helpline numbers where people can call in and see if their family members are all right?
There are lifelines, there are calls, but all of these consequences, all of these products, you can only see even after the typhoon. I would suggest even that they'd like to check on the gaps that happen because of all of this. You see, it's really something that can be logically solved, really, no? Like evacuation, but evacuation when we have very very bad facilities, very very bad transport, very very bad communication. We don't even get together for our local governments to centralize every effort for such disasters like this.
All right, Stephen, thanks for
These are
joining. Yes, please go on.
yeah, yeah.
Go on.
These are the forces that we will have to contend with right now. You know, it's something that is, you see, that is organic in us, and I think not only in us but in a lot of other Asian cultures, where there is very little logic, there is very little science in the way we understand things.
All right, I'd like to go across to Dr. Dwivedi, who's our weather expert. Dr. Dwivedi, you're listening to Stephen, who's telling us about the situation there. Now, when do you think this storm will subside?
Not, it will be hurry to say that it will be subside in next few hours, because as the weather conditions are suggesting, so it will take around 12 to 20 hours till the pupil should follow uh, the government instruction, as well as that is the disaster management group, whatever they are giving the instructions, so people should follow, because the Phung Wong, that is the locally known as the Oman, uh, is, uh, is proceeding in a very faster way, and wind speed is increasing, and as the emergency is already being declared in the Philippines. So the Philippines Atmospherical and Geophysical and Astronomical Service Administration, as it is saying that it forecasted to make landfall in Aruba province as early as Sunday night, with maximum sustained wind of up to the 185 kilometer per hour, and gust of up to the 230 kilometer per hour. So it is raised the highest alert level, that is the signal number 5 that I have already discussed, for the southwestern and central area. So include Quetta, Dunens, and Cambrian Sur, and Aurora province. So while the Metro Manila and nearby province, so although they are facing signal number 3, but in the west part it is the signal number 5. So it will take around 12 to 20 hours to subside, until we have to
All
follow
right,
the
Dr. Dwivedi,
disaster.
we're short of time, but thank you so much for joining me, and especially Stephen, who joined us from Philippines. Please take care of yourself.